With case statements in SQL, you can add logic to your queries. You can imagine them like decision trees. On top of the tree, we have the case when statement with a condition. If the condition is true, then we would show some result. Otherwise, in the else case, we would show something else. Ben has a salary of 60,000 and he's working in the IT department. We want to categorize his salary. So first of all, we would need a condition. Let's say the salary is bigger than 50,000. If so, then he has a high salary. Otherwise, he has a normal salary. As his salary is 60,000, which is bigger than 50,000, he has a high salary, which we can then add as another column in our result set, stating that he falls in the category of high salary. Okay, now let's have a look how we actually implement it in SQL. First of all, I have here a small little data set. Let's have a look. We have a name column, and here's again our Ben with a salary of 60,000 working in IT department. And then we also have Steve, Amy, John in different departments with different salaries. All right, now we want to add our case statement. We start out by a case when. Now follows our condition. So we say the salary shall be bigger than 50,000. And then as in the decision tree, we add now our first result tree, which is the then. If it is a high salary, he has a high salary. Otherwise, it's as easy as adding here then the else part. And we say, okay, this person has a normal salary. And then we need to add an end. I did not show it in the animation, but this is always needed at the end. And then we can, if we want to give it a column name, let's say we call this our category. And this is what we have here. And if we run it, we see Ben has a high salary as 60,000 is bigger than 50,000. Steve has a high salary and Amy and John both have a normal salary. This is how we implement case statements in SQL. In the part where we define our condition, here we can enter anything that results in a true or false value. For example, we can say case when our department is in the list of finance or IT, then this person works in finance or IT. Otherwise, and we are free to add also columns here. Let's put in here the department column again. Otherwise, we point out the department that he works in. And let's call this as department changed. Running this, we see, okay, Ben and Steve working in IT and finance as well as John. So these three have finance or IT, the text. And for Amy, who works in HR, is not part of this list. So we put out the column department, which in her case is the HR. We can also have nested case statements. So on each of these result sets, we can have another decision. Let's try that. So I will make a little space here so we can see easier our tree, but in the end, it can also be concise. In the first result, if somebody's working in finance or IT, we can then say, here's another case when. Case when the salary is over 50,000, thing that we had before, then, and now we are having a high salary employee in finance or IT. So in the end, the combination of those two. If we are still in the first tree, but in the salary not being higher than 50,000, then we are in an area where we can say, okay, normal salary in finance or IT. And then we need to add an internal end here. So this again is a decision tree on its own. In the else part, let's just copy paste it in here. In this case, we are not in finance or IT, but our salary is higher than 50,000. And here we would say high salary in, and then we can also add our department column here. And we have the normal salary in department. All ended nice and well. Let's make it a little more together. And this is in our department and salary column. Running this, we see, okay, if somebody is in IT, we will always have at the end finance or IT. And then with the normal salary in finance or IT, high salary in finance or IT. And then the normal salary in HR, because under 50,000, but not within the list of the departments. With this nesting, you are very flexible to do whatever you want. But let's say you are not very creative and ask yourself, but Henning, why should I want to do this? Well, one example could be that we would want to calculate our yearly salary raises. Let's say if somebody works in finance or IT and his salary is over 50,000, he shall get 3% more. If his salary is not so high, he shall get maybe 4% more. And if he's not working in those departments, for some reason they were not performing as good maybe last year, they shall only get 2% if they are high salaried and 3% if they are normal salaried. Let's give it a name, new salary. There you have it. And then there's also another syntax version that I rarely use because it's not very flexible, but nonetheless I want to show you how it works. From employee, and in here we can say case, and now we don't add a when directly, but we say case department or any other column when, now the when comes later, when the department is IT, then let's say works in IT. And then I can copy paste and as working department, and he works in finance, or let's also add here an else case, else works somewhere else. Running this, we see that this also works. But as I said, I don't like this so much because you are not very flexible. You cannot add here any conditions and you could not add lists over here. So it's always just possible if you have a very small list of possible values that you're asking for. And even then, for consistency, I mostly prefer the other syntax. Now, a common error with case statements is that you don't have an else case and there is data which does not fit in the first categories. This also holds true for the other syntax, by the way. But if I don't have this, what do you think will be the result over here in working department when I have an HR department which is not in this list? Let's find out. Running this, we will get a null value, which is sometimes what you want, but most of the time you don't. So you should always take care that you have covered all possible values or have an else case which catches everything else. Okay, this is the case statement in SQL. As you have seen, you can put your logic right into your select. What I did not show you yet is that you can use the case statements also in the where, in the group by, in the order by, or in the having statements. So nothing stops you from putting it somewhere else. Wherever you can put your columns, you can always add your case statements. I know remembering the syntax of SQL is not always very easy. I have created a free SQL cheat sheet for you, which contains also the case statements. If you're interested, link is in the description below. You can download your copy for free.